Martin, it's so good to be doing this interview with you. So today we're going to get to know you a little bit, and then we'll play self-simulated, and you can help me out. You can point out some design
I'll
decisions,
try.
maybe make me better at platforming. The
Okay.
self-simulated is this awesome game that recently came out for really anything that will take a Game Boy or Game Boy Color cartridge. I'm playing it on the ModRetro Chromatic. I've got a few of them here because I'm a massive super fan. And that's how we met, is through the team over at ModRetro Chromatic. So tell us about yourself.
Oh, well, yeah. Hi, I'm Martin, as you said, the developer of Self Simulated. I'm a freelancer in my job time. Like I'm for the most of my adulthood life, I was a web developer. So that's the core of what I do. But I do a bunch of other stuff. And recently, obviously, game development, which
Yeah.
is like Self Simulators is really the very first real video game I made, like ever. So that's pretty exciting to be like with you here, and I'm a bit nervous about what you will see and say about the game.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, okay, let's dive into a couple of things that you said. So you said it's the first real game that you've made. What makes this distinct from other projects you've worked on?
yes, I dove into or I found out about GB Studio, which is what I used to develop this game, self-simulated, and I stumbled upon it when creating my own personal website. I think it was 2022. Yeah, I think 22 or 23. I can't remember even. But yeah, I stumbled upon that and wanted to create like a playable portfolio to find out stuff about myself, which I then put on a Game Boy on my website. So this is where I got my first like interactions with the software, but I wouldn't call it a real video game in that
Yeah.
sense. But yeah, that was the first project I made with GB Studio. So Self Simulated is really the first overall video game I then made.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. And so where did the motivation for this come from? This is not the kind of game that I think a lot of people would start making as their first real game, because it's so thoughtful, right? With the story and the narrative of, like, really the undertone of the story is it's quite metaphorical. And then on
Mhm.
top of that, it's very hard to play as you get further into this. I think around stage
I'm
15, I'm
sorry.
starting to regret my life. So
Mm.
why this of all the kind of games you could have made?
Oh well, I think I wanted to make a platformer because that's one of for systems like the Game Boy. This is one of the genres that I like to play, and I'm a huge fan of platformers like Celeste, which was obviously a big influence when making Self Simulated, as well as games like Katana Zero. And visually, but that came later in the process, but visually, I mean Portal, like, of course. Uh,
Yeah.
it screams Portal all over the place, I guess, and I even made fun of it inside the game. We will see about that, but yeah, it was really just like, okay, I have my first experience doing GB Studio stuff, so now I want to make a video game, and it just came to my mind to make this. And story-wise, it was really like I love to watch science YouTube channels like Kurzgesagt, which go about, or they also talk about stuff like what makes you you, what is reality, is reality really real, and stuff like that. And I, story-wise, I knew from the beginning that I wanted to have something that keeps people like thinking about it, and maybe even like weird them out to a
Yeah.
certain degree. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely doing that for me. So
Great.
there's a lot that goes into these games, and I want to start playing it here in a moment and then ask you about it as we go through it.
Hmm.
But before I get to that, there's two other things I want to ask you about. So
Sure.
you have included with every Mod Retro Chromatic physical release, there's a charm. And I'm just curious. I mean, the charm, of course, makes sense once you start playing the game that this is what you would have chosen. But what's that process like? Do they call you up and say, now it's time to pick your charm? Here are your options, or do they give you some ideas? What's it like?
Oh no, it's like the first part. So they contact you, or in this case, I had very often talk like meetings with Chris, the head of not development, the head of publishing. So, and he is like talking to the people, or in this case, to me, to the developers. Like, okay, now we are getting ready for step X, X, Y, Z. And so he just basically said, okay, until this date, we need a charm. It can be of this dimension. And yeah, then, I mean, every one of us could pick whatever they want. And I wanted to do like the hanging playable character.
Yeah. And then they just
it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Great choice, by the way.
Thank
and then
you.
the second question is the cartridge. One of the things that I love so much is that when I unbox these games, I don't know what color the cartridge is going to be. Not only is yours kind of a transparent black, dark color, but it also has little dots that kind of look like stars. So talk to us about that. Like, you could have picked anything. Like, how did that go down?
Exactly the same as with the charm. Like you have to pick. Or I guess you don't have to pick, but you can pick from a broad band of colors and stuff like that. For example, In the Dark 2 has, I think it has glow in the dark.
It does.
Like there are many options, and I asked Chris if they have something that maybe remotely resembles like the glitch, like something that's maybe with glitter and stuff like that. And he showed me this by then new opaque black glitter glittery thing, and I was like, yeah, that's the one.
It's always nice when you're doing something creative and something just perfect, right? It seems so perfect. Okay, let's fire it up and just walk through this a little bit together. So you do everything here.
No.
Okay, talk to us about like what you outsourced or got help with.
Right. So I'm, as I said, I'm a web developer in first place, with like a strong suit in front-end development. So I'm pretty decent in like UI stuff and general design stuff, but I'm not an artist in that sense. Like I can't even draw a straight line. So I knew I had to, and I never touched like pixel art before. So the first thing I had to figure out was I tried a bit of making music with GB Studio and stuff like that, and I figured out how it would work, but it was just no fun for me. So I knew I needed help with that. Met BeatScribe, one of the greatest, like really one of the greatest musical artists in the GB Studio space. I mean, I guess he's also great in other things, but I only knew him from this era. And yeah, really happy to have worked with him, because he made every soundtrack, every sound effect in this game. Like, this is all his work. So this is why I put a big logo at the start, and he has also a jukebox in the game, so where you can just skip through all the music. So that's that. So I didn't do any of the music or sound effects. That's all BeatScribe's excellent work. And then the second thing was that when I first tried GB Studio, I also like tried a bit of pixel art, but I was at the very beginning, and I knew I would need help for that as well. So I met 2-Bit Crook. BeatScribe actually referred to him, like he connected us. And yeah, I mean, just like we both, we just sat together and talked or wrote back and forth, and met each other, and yeah, it clicked. And yeah, then I would like he did most of the groundwork and established the whole look of the game. So the development process took me around 2 years. So while that was going on, my skills in pixel art grew as well. But 2-Bit Crook, he had to like put all the base things in there so that I can pick those up and build from there. So yeah, it's a mix of actually things that I made and many things that he made. For example, the menu here is completely mine. So,
I like the menu. It has almost a Star Trek vibe to it.
Yeah, I tried to mimic very old computer monitors with the like orange fonts and stuff like that. So yeah,
I love it.
The core part that I made was of course the game itself, the story, how it works and all that. And I would say like 40% 40% of the pixel art. So that's like my part. I would maybe like 45, but I wouldn't go higher than that.
Very impressive.
Credits due for the people who actually did it.
100%. And you do have a whole credit section in the menu that I noticed just now. So yeah, credit where credit is due for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, as you can see from my load files, I don't know if this is about halfway, because I know there's over 100 missions, 100 stages.
Yes.
I've died a lot, and I've died in places where I'm like, are you kidding me? I just did this. Like, let's say I get 30 or 40% of the way through a section in the stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I die or I reboot, and then I go back and I'll just die, like just right there over and over. Like, no, I'm doing this right. And then my kids are, Dad, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. So it can be a brutally hard game. And it's not, at least so far for me, it's not like every single mission, every next stage rather, it's not harder than the previous. It kind of depends on what your skills are as a player, which I think is interesting.
Yes.
But I want to dive into, maybe I should start a whole new game so we can do a little bit of the story actually. But tell us about the story. Let's start there, and I'll go backwards and we'll figure that part out.
Yeah. So I won't do spoilers. So I just I will talk about the things that the player will figure out at the beginning. So yeah, you first of all, the player. So you, when you play the game, you are the player. So like it's you. Like that was my intention. It's not like you play some character or something. You play this robot. It's you that was loaded into this robot body. Like your complete mind and your complete you was backed up and uploaded into this robot body because you had an accident before. And the thing is, you technically can remember, but the thing is, the memory of what happened to you and why you are now in a robot body is locked behind a code. And you need to synchronize with that robot body to get the code back and then find out what happened and what's this all about. So you are in a facility which is controlled by this Macris AI, and you just have to get through it to synchronize your robot body.
Just get through it. That's all you have to do.
Just get through it. It's not the most heavy, the most story heavy driven game. Like but yeah, it's a baseline.
Yeah, well, I mean, geez, the I think the tutorial section is extremely well done because you do pick up.
Thank you.
I mean, truly, because these games can be absolutely brutal, and I feel like you did such a good job of just easing people into it. And in fact, when you reboot, it's so fast. Everything is so fast, and I think that would be one of the most frustrating things is if you died or you failed and you reboot. If it took a long time, or if you had to start from further away, but you did a really good job of just like, come on, keep trying. You get it. Once you get it, you pretty much got it forever on some of the more basic movements and jumps and stuff.
Mhm.
And then you start to learn how the platform areas work, like some of the, we'll call them elevators. I don't know a better word for them. So you did a really good job with that. And I love how it's just very quick.
Thank you.
Trying over and over again.
Yeah, that was really core of what I really wanted. Like it should, you will reboot. Like let's just quick talk about the reboot and why I don't say die. BeatScribe's nephew is I can't even remember if he's 6 or 9 or something, but he must something between that. And he also test played at the very first stages and very first like weeks of development of this game. I started testing with people very early on, just to get valuable feedback of what I could do better or something like that, which happened like they just had to record them playing and I would learn from that. So I wanted to make it kids friendly, like or as kids friendly as it can be. So there is no you die or you died in an accident or something. Like kids can play this game and it should be completely fine. And that's why I call it reboot. So your robot, I mean, you are already a robot, and if you fail, you just get rebooted in a new robot body.
That's very sweet. That makes sense. And
So
it's funny you say that if they reboot, right, they should be able to play this game and they'll be fine. I'm just thinking, man, my son, he's 6. He's really good. He's beaten Spider-Man 2 on PS5 by himself. He's beaten Mario Odyssey, probably some other games too. Like he's pretty talented at playing games. I think this game would drive him crazy. It's going to be so hard. Maybe I'm just a baby. What's some of the feedback you got from play testers, including the nephew? Like, are people saying this game's brutally hard?
It was all over the place. Like it's really tough to make such a game which suits everyone. So from the footage I got from BeatScribe's nephew, I learned that people, and also from footage from other players, I learned pretty quickly that people don't read. Like they just don't read. So if you try to explain something with text, then you are out of luck, because they skip through it and they just want to play. So I had to find some mechanics, or in this case, all the little displays, to teach players without text, so that they can just see what's going on and just go through. That was the first thing. And from the footage of BeatScribe's nephew, I saw him like fail a lot, really a lot. But he was just like, okay, next, just one try after the other. And so it was a difficult thing to have it in a way that most people can pick up quickly. But, and that's what you I think you just used it a few seconds ago. This is why I also introduced assist modes and assist settings, because this is something I learned also from games like Celeste. They give you the choice to play the game in the difficulty or pace that you feel comfortable with. So you can turn on anti-glitch mode, which will not reboot you when you touch the glitch, which is this, I mean, it's inspired from the glitch from Pokemon, the missing no. And this is the glitch which when you touch it, it will reboot you. So you can turn that off. That you can just straight up walk through it. Sometimes, if you want the whole time. I mean, you can turn on triple jump instead of double jump, so that you can traverse higher and further. You can have, like in the later stages, you will have something like wall grab, but you have to hold it. Like if you want to stick to a right wall, then you have to hold right. So because if you let loose of the right stick, then the player will drop, which is intentional, because sometimes you want to drop. But you can turn it on that you just stick to it, and if you want to drop, to drop, then you can just go with the down button. And so I put in assist modes to just like really say, okay, if this game in its stage is really way too hard for you, but you want to play it through, then go with it. Take some assist modes and make it easier for you. Because the other side was that I have had some speedrunning friends test the game, and it was just like too easy for them. And I didn't want it to make like only for casual players, and then all the speedrunners and all the hardcore guys are just like, it's way too easy, not interested in that. So I try to have it for both sides, or for all.
Let me pull that up real quick, because as you were talking, I was not in the menu. So show hints. There's the triple jump.
Exactly.
Automatic wall grab. That might be helpful for me, because where I'm at, I'm using wall grab a lot. Yeah. Auto stop. Anti glitch, right? Which you talked about already.
Exactly.
And then do not mute the music. We'll leave that running. So yeah, definitely some good options.
So yeah, that was quite a challenge actually, to have like all this in the game, and also the balance between not making it too hard, so that if you really get into it, you can beat it without any assist modes, of course. But also having it like for more casual players.
Yeah, and then here's your Portal reference.
Right. Because it was so on the nose, so I had to.
It's awesome. Portal's a great game. Okay, so I'm gonna switch back over here to me, so we could talk a little bit more about. Let's see if this works. Come on, baby.
To blur the background.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, there we go. You can see me now, right? Okay, yes. Cool. Okay, so thank you, of course, for just walking us through that and then talking more about the game. And I'm curious what is next for you, because the reception that I'm seeing about this game is extremely positive, particularly on Reddit and in the Chromatic subreddit, which is I've got to be a decent representation of like us crazy Chromatic fans. People seem to really like this game. So what's next for you? What's next is there going to be a series? Tell us a little more about the future.
Yeah, great question, actually. So the very next thing for me is I'm going to marry like in a few weeks. So we talked about that earlier. So
I love it. Yeah.
Thank you. And before that, actually 2 weeks before that, I will be on at Gamescom in Germany presenting the game. Like ModRetro gave 3 of us, like Chanty, Casey, the developer of Chanty, Colin, the developer of Tokitori, and me, their own booth to like represent their games and stuff like that. Really cool. So this will be the very next thing. Then I will marry, and then I will have like honeymoon and a bit of just like me time or us time. Yeah. But after that, I will actually, or I just started to look into, and that I really want to do that, try to develop a spin-off title of Self-Simulated that is targeted towards people with visual impairments up until even legally blind and completely blind people. So I want to try to make a spin-off that is enjoyable for both people without impairments, but also people that are completely blind. Wow. And then you have to like work with sound effects, maybe rumble and stuff like that. So that's on my mind with like the very next thing that I want to try, and it will be a spin-off of Self-Simulated. I think it will be a prequel kind of thing. And after that, I will absolutely work on a second Self-Simulated
that's cool. And you'll stick within the GB Studio.
Yes.
Developments. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Cool. That is really something. Any plans to release this game elsewhere, or is it already available elsewhere?
I will release Self-Simulated like digitally on Steam and the ROM and stuff like that in 2 years, like 2027.
Yeah.
So because I mean, we all have our contracts and stuff like that, and of course, it would just, for me personally also, it would just be better to have like more eyes on the product through ModRetro. Without ModRetro, I wouldn't be halfway there where I am now with the game. So yeah, this will be like my plan. In 2 years, I will probably then release all the stuff digitally. There is already a Steam page, so you can now already put it on the wish list. And then yeah, I will just have it physically available through ModRetro and digitally on. We'll see where else.
Cool. Well, best of luck to you. I'd love to stay in touch. Thank you so much for taking the time to just tell us about this. And seriously, congratulations on this release.
Thank you.
I hope everybody wrote down GB Studio, because it seems like it's worth just learning. Because if you're a huge fan, if you're a fan enough of Game Boy games that you're going out there and buying 4 of these like I have, and you're I've got another one actually. Here's another one.
Yes.
But if you're a huge fan of it and you love playing these games, maybe you've got your own ideas or something, right? And it sounds like there's a cool community out there too.
It is a huge community. I mean, I'm part of the GB Studio Central team, so I will also write articles about GB Studio, certain things, and yeah, I actually just wrote an article about how to make your game more accessible for people with like visual impairments. You don't like not only completely blind, but in general.
Oh, so you've already done a ton of research. Like you're preparing yourself for that.
Yes,
that's cool.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll see it sooner than later.
Maybe. I already have one test person, which is my cousin. He is legally blind, so yeah, that all makes sense, and
it does, yeah.
Clicks together nicely.
That's cool. Well, that's exciting that you're doing that, and good luck to you with everything. I think we'll have you back on here at some point then, talking about that next game.
Would be wonderful.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, folks. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm sure if you have questions, Martin will probably read the chat. So, in the comments section, throw them in there. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, folks.
All right.